Thanks for joining us. We're doing a few special mini episodes to hold you over till season 2. I was thinking back on school recently, and it wasn't perfect, but it was quite a magical time. And one of the best parts was the school lunch. We had this...
You're the first person that's ever said that.
One of the best
One of the best parts was school lunches.
That's how scary my school was.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about middle school. We had these giant chocolate chip cookies, and I swear they were 25 cents. But that sounds ridiculous. That sounds like when people say coffee was 10 cents in my day. Doesn't it sound like a ridiculous price?
It does sound ridiculous, but I don't think school lunches, I don't know how much they are now. In New York City, they're all free. Mm-hmm. So every kid gets a free school lunch. And they can also get free breakfast. And so I don't know what it would cost to feed a kid in
I
school.
would love that if they got the cookies for free and they were selling them to us for a quarter.
No.
It was just the lady at the cash register that was like,
well, somebody's paying
these are
for
a quarter.
it. Taxpayers or whatever. But
Yeah.
It's when I was a kid, I think that school lunch was ridiculously cheap. I think maybe it was $1.10 or something like that for the entire lunch. So I could imagine a cookie being a quarter.
Okay, then maybe I'm right.
I mean, probably... For them to be turning a profit at that means the quality of these things that they were giving us were incredibly low.
Right. Well, when my mom made chocolate chip cookies at home, they were the size of a hockey puck. They were, that radius, circumference. But I always get so technical on this. Like, I don't talk like this in real life. But
no, you get very hung up. No, it's circumference.
I know. Like, okay. I feel like I'm teaching some child that happens to have wandered in and listened to our podcast. Like, I better use the correct term or they'll never learn math. So anyway, these cookies were the size of your head in middle school. At least they felt that way. They felt enormous. I'm like, you can't make cookies this big.
Well, you did have a small head. So.
Well, I was smaller in middle school.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah, well, what's funny is that I forget, as you get older, you just forget about school lunches. And our daughter has been eating school lunches. And when she was in pre-K, because they do pre-K here in New York City, every kid gets
Prec, as I call it.
Yeah, Prec. And she, the pre-K that she went to had a special catered thing. Like, I don't know what company they were using to get their lunches, but they were trying to be more organic and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and
it was great.
And she, I was like, I want to eat this.
She only ate it once a week though.
We actually had to give her lunch to go because she wouldn't eat any of those lunches. So they're like, she's not eating.
Yeah, they were worried about her
sun
nutrition
butter because you can't have peanuts or almonds or anything. So you have to have sun butter
sandwich, and she wanted that every day. She's like, I'd rather have this than that weird meatball they keep trying to serve me.
Right, every single time. And so now she's just in the regular kindergarten and then in first grade where they're just
yes. Just kidding.
Precker.
No, I'm naming it after Shrek.
Okay.
Precker. Too Prec, too furious. Yes. Anyway,
and so she doesn't eat everything. So sometimes I'll say, hey, did you eat lunch today? And she's like, not really. It was chicken nuggets, and I don't like chicken nuggets.
Unreal.
And I'm like, chicken nuggets? She goes, they're too squishy. And I'm like, that's what makes chicken nuggets good.
That's why kids like them.
Yeah, you don't
They're
want
not tough.
A crunchy nugget.
You don't want to be gnawing on a nugget like it's a Kong.
She's like, I look for the crunchy parts and eat those. I'm like, what are you even talking about, kid? And so just in general, like, I don't know that the stuff we see in movies ever really happens in a school lunch.
Like food fights?
Cafeterias, food fights.
Never.
There's always like these food fights that take place in Nickelodeon shows.
Right. The whole school would be expelled.
Yeah, the whole school. Nobody does that. Like, kids don't eat the food. They don't throw it. A lot of times they just take it directly and throw it in the garbage. Because I've even said to her, like, oh, did you share the nuggets with another kid that wants them? And she's like, we're not allowed to do that. So they're not even allowed to share their food.
Wow.
With each other.
Oh, that's so unfun. Do you remember when we had, I brought my school in a lunchbox, and what my friends and I would do, and maybe every kid did this, you would open your lunchbox and set it up like it was a little cubicle, and you could hide behind it if you want, and you can talk over it, and you can see everybody's beautiful display of lunchboxes, and then you could trade items inside.
Yeah, trading was a big deal. Now, it's also possible that she is incorrect or not telling the truth.
What's going on in that room?
The lunch. I have no idea what's going on with her lunch.
But why doesn't she love it is what's baffling you, right? Because we used to look forward to the hot lunch. Pizza, chicken nuggets, hamburgers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and she doesn't like most of those things. She doesn't like the cheeseburger. She doesn't like the nuggets. Things that she does like are what is something that she actually likes? She likes hummus and pretzels.
Right. Which I'm surprised they give you that.
Yeah, she will eat the carrot sticks.
Sure.
And corn, those type of things.
She wants stuff she can recognize.
Yeah, she did like the burrito up until a classmate of hers said it looked like diarrhea. And then she's like, I can't eat this anymore. It was her favorite lunch, and this kid ruined it. I want to smack him around a little bit.
She ruins it for herself with her imagination. I try to tell her, like, you have to, as powerful as your imagination can be for anxiety, it can also be for, whimsy.
Yes.
Just tell him your mouth is diarrhea proof.
Diarrhea proof. It's unicorn diarrhea. So it's special. It's magical.
So it's magical. It makes
you fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should eat diarrhea, kid.
I think we've said the D word too much now.
We've been demonetized.
But the lunch I didn't look forward to in grade school, I was thankful that I had a lunch and not the hot lunch, was when they had mashed potatoes and what I would guess is a Salisbury steak, or it was some breaded cutlet of meat. And it was light brown, or it was tan, and it smelled the same every time. I feel like they served that 3 times a week because I was like, ooh, I didn't even want to look at it in kids' lunches.
Everything looks and kind of smells the same in the cafeteria. It sounds like, what are those things called that they're not chicken and they're not beef, but they're breaded?
Oh, chicken fried steak.
Like chicken fried steak.
Yes,
yeah.
I think you're right. It was probably chicken fried steak.
I know that you can tell how long I've been out of Indiana that I'm like, what's that thing called? Oh, it's chicken fried steak.
Where the breading is tan, but it's mushy, and the meat is tough, but it's gray.
Yes. that is either chicken fried steak or a tenderloin. Which is neither tender nor loin.
And they would never serve steak fried chicken. Yeah. That always disappointed me.
Well, another thing in movies in television you see is the lunch ladies. Like they always had the hairnets. They were overweight. They seemed to have a cigarette hanging out of their mouth, a big mole that's hairy.
Right. They were unattractive for some reason. Like that's the only work you can get. But why would unattractive people get the job of serving food? It makes it unappetizing.
I guess it just fits the total package of lunch.
Right.
It's gray slop that you do not want to eat.
Yeah, and you don't want to see the person giving it to you.
No,
right.
and in school cafeterias especially, they're not particularly nice places to eat.
They're not cute.
They're almost like, it's like eating in a hospital.
It is a bit hospital-like. There's linoleum or some kind of, easy to clean floor, and we know why that is. And then I think ours was down in the basement, so we had like high windows that kind of saw the ground level sunlight. So it was dark. It was fluorescent lighting.
Yeah, I think that ours had bars on the windows.
Oh,
just
gosh.
Like keep the kids in there. Make you feel like you're eating in a jail cell or the jail yard.
And people wonder why we eat nothing but junk food today.
I know. And well,
we were traumatized.
I feel like at some point lunches changed from maybe the state doing it and it was a much healthier lunch to private companies going, we're just going to give the kids what they want. So I remember as a kid, my favorite one was Turkey Manhattan, which was a piece of bread, mashed potatoes, turkey, actual turkey meat, and gravy over that. That was Turkey Manhattan, right?
Wow, every day's Thanksgiving at your school.
Well, that was one of the meals. That you might have that once a week or once every couple of weeks. You have pizza maybe once a week. You had so pizza, hamburgers, those two, you had one or the other on Friday.
Okay.
So you didn't have pizza in a week and you didn't have hamburgers in a week.
Right.
You had one or the other just once a week.
That sounds right.
Right. Everything else was healthy. You had a chicken breast one. Then somewhere along the line they changed. I think it was right when I went into high school.
Yeah.
And it was just pizza and hamburgers every single day. There was nothing else to choose. You could get that or you could get the salad. And,
oh, no.
Which was just a bunch of not even just iceberg lettuce with ranch dressing on it.
Let me pull you on this. What's worse? Hospital food, school food when they didn't try to make it good, and airport food. Because to me, they're almost all the same.
Airport food is much better. Having traveled enough with comedy now is that so many airports now just have restaurants come in.
Oh, and they can do it right.
Yeah, they just don't even do like...
Then maybe I'm thinking of rest stop food. The convenience store refrigerated section.
You're thinking of like a pre-made egg salad sandwich.
Yes, but specifically when you said salad, I'm picturing like, yellowed lettuce leaves and skinny carrots, just anemic carrots, and that's it.
Yeah, well, they don't. I'm glad they at least still serve some vegetables at school that our daughter will eat. I remember at some point we didn't have fruit and vegetables. Like you could just get one of those Hostess fruit pies.
Ooh, nice.
At the side. Like you could have your pizza with a fruit pie. And they say, why is Indiana out of shape?
Yeah, that's when Jamie Oliver came in from the UK and said, I've got to improve American lunches. We're tired of hearing about them.
I remember that show, Jamie Oliver show, where it's like, we're going to change how school lunches are done, and we're going to make it healthy for these kids. And like that show was canceled after like an episode and a half. Like really? Halfway through the second episode, they're like, okay, we're done. Like nobody's watching this. Nobody cares. So.
I was hoping it would take off. It reminds me of feeding our kid at home. Like if I make a lasagna, she'll be like, can I just have the noodles plain before you add sauce or cheese or anything to it? And I'm like,
just a plain old.
I guess.
Sometimes she wants it before you even cook it.
Yeah, I wanted to crunch on a noodle. It'll last me a half hour.
Mm-hmm. I know. For me, it's funny to see that our daughter not eating lunch again, because at some point I stopped eating lunches at school and just pocketed the money. Because I had lunch money, which she's never going to have the thrill of having a bully take your lunch money because she doesn't have any. Everybody gets free lunch.
They just take your pride and sense of self.
Right.
Nice shoes, weirdo.
Yeah. So she won't have that. She won't have any self-esteem when she's done, but she will not have the lunch money taken away. But I would just pocket it. So I'd take the $1.10, it got to be like $1.50 or $2 lunch. I just kept that. So I think my dad would give me lunch money every week, $10 or something like that for the lunches of the week. And I just kept it. And I would buy stuff with it.
I was going to say, you must have spent it too, right?
Yeah, saved up, bought a video game or, something like that.
You're like, this is what happens with drug dealers. Suddenly they have very expensive suits on. So you're just wandering around in your house with lots of bling and your family's like, wow. What are you getting up to these days, kid?
It was Indiana, and when I was high school, like starter jackets would have been popular. So probably got some like Miami Hurricane starter jacket with the money.
That's one benefit that you had with older parents. They just let you do you. Like they did not pay attention to you. And I hope we'll be the same. Sadly, we have an only child, so I'm like always up to I always want to know what she's up to. But
yeah, but
one day I won't care.
They kind of knew what I was up to on some things. Like I sold candy at school through junior high and high school, which I would just buy, the day after Halloween. Maybe I even told this story before on the podcast. Is like I would buy all of the half off, 75% off candy at. In fact, I didn't even buy it myself. My mom bought it. For me to sell.
And then you'd open your trench coat and reveal sour straws.
I would carry around a duffel bag all day long.
Duffel bag.
Because you could have a duffel bag at school, like a backpack. This is before you had to have clear ones and everything.
So you wouldn't be selling it in the parking lot. You would just be in the hallways?
I'd be in the class, or the hallways. People would say, oh, let me get one of them now and laters. Let me get a warhead.
Now and laters.
So I had different prices for different things. So like I think a warhead was maybe $0.25 or something like that. And then 50 cents for miniature Snickers or whatever.
It's a great time because kids like me, I had no concept of money. So if I had $0.25 on me, I was definitely going to give it to you for whatever single tiny piece of item you had.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh,
we didn't go to school together, but that's what I would have done.
Kids loved that. Well, everybody had $0.25. And so by the end of the day, I had made $10-15 or whatever.
Cha-ching. I wish I knew you back then.
I know.
I did not make money until I was babysitting.
How do I have business sense then and I don't have it now?
Well, you still just buy candy and starter jackets. That's your problem.
That is true. I'm still selling everything for $0.25.
Thanks for joining us today. If you had a great time, let us know on social. Follow Kid is in School on Twitter and The Kid is in School on Instagram. Subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Be sure to throw us one of those 5-star ratings and share with your friends. Oh, and do it quickly before the kid gets home.